It is the ship that many believe to be unsinkable. You may be familiar with the story of Titanic, but now we are learning about it in a whole new way. I have Alexander Gallant here, the director of Titanic the Musical, put on by KW Musical Productions. Thanks for having us.
Thank you for joining us today.
So we are backstage. There's a warm-up going on. Everyone's getting ready to put on the performance of Titanic the Musical. Tell me a little bit about your production.
Titanic the Musical is the Broadway production that came out on Broadway the year before James Cameron's Oscar-winning film.
Is that right?
So there is no Jack and Rose in this production.
Okay, good to know, good to know. But what can we find in your production?
There is a lot of the different characters, all are based on historical people that actually lived, died, or survived Titanic's sinking.
Okay, so you take us through the story of people learning that they're going to be traveling across the Atlantic on this ship, not knowing, of course, its destined fate, and then we learn some of their stories throughout the journey?
The Titanic itself, the ship, is the main character. There are no main characters in this musical as there are in many standard musicals or movies. And it's all these individual stories that are woven together, all from different social classes, and all find themselves on this at the wrong place at the wrong time. And Mother Nature doesn't recognize social classes, and they're all in the same boat, literally.
I mean, it's been over 100 years, but it's still such a fascinating story for so many people. What is it that you think keeps bringing people to come learn more about the story of Titanic?
I think the fact that it was, because it was boasted to be unsinkable,
right,
and they thought, you know, the arrogance of, you know, that man is more superior than Mother Nature. Mother Nature said no. And there were so many little things that went wrong that if any one of those had not been there, it would have been a different outcome. And
sure,
it's just all those little coincidences that went wrong.
Most definitely. I want to point out a couple of the props that you have backstage here. These are fascinating and they look so authentic to me. I know that was important to you.
Yes, I'm a stickler for historical accuracy.
Look at this. So this, I imagine, is maybe a first-class table?
Yes, it is. And our props people replicated the look of the plates that were at the time with the white Star Line logo.
Amazing. We've got a boarding pass there. We also have suitcases and an old-fashioned video camera. I think this is pretty neat too. I think our cameraman would probably enjoy seeing that, Alexander.
Yeah, and it's a turn. There is an actual turn crank on it.
Amazing.
See, you know, for that, and actual authentic White Star.
This is so fascinating, Alexander. Thanks for giving us a sneak peek into the show. We're going to learn some of the stories and meet some of the characters coming up. We are getting a peek behind the curtain at KW Musical Productions, Titanic the Musical. These are the lifeboats. I mean, if only there had been enough of them, right? And look at these life jackets. They look completely as they did during that time. This is amazing. Here to tell us a little bit more about the show, we have Fred Brandenburg. You play Captain Smith. Thanks for joining us. Indeed.
Welcome aboard the RMS Titanic, Miss Morrison.
Why, thank you. I would say that I'm happy to be here, but many of us know the fate of this ship. And I want to talk to you a little bit about your role in this show, because Captain Smith has some real highs and lows, doesn't he?
Well, Captain Smith has had a 43-year career at sea with no incidents, no accidents, no shipwrecks, perfect record. He's the Commodore of the White Star Line. He's the top man in the company. And they've asked him to stay on beyond when he wanted to retire to see them through the maiden voyage of the Titanic.
Right.
So he was a very serious seaman.
And he was excited to be a part of this maiden voyage because everybody was talking about Titanic. And then I believe very infamously, Captain Smith goes down with the ship.
He does, yes. And well, I guess that's kind of the tradition. The captain goes down with the ship. And he does his best to ensure that everyone is onto lifeboats that can be. Unfortunately, as you can see here, we don't have quite enough lifeboats or life preservers for everyone in the audience tonight.
Right.
But we'll try to ensure a safe voyage.
And talk to me a little bit about putting this all together. We briefly talked about the props before, but I just think they're so great for this particular show. It took a while to make these.
Yes, I've been told by the props person, each one of those life jackets took about 4 hours to make.
Wow.
And I helped out with making some of the dinner plates that are on that beautifully set table. And took me a couple of hours to get very little done.
Yeah.
I'm not that good with my thumbs and fingers, but
well,
yeah,
good for
there's amazing, and you can see all the luggage that's here for all the passengers loading the ship.
Yes.
Is just a fantastic job that our props people have done, our lighting crew, our sound people, the people building the sets. The set is just amazing. It's a huge task, but we hope that people will enjoy the show.
Most definitely. And how have you enjoyed being a part of it?
Oh, it's been a great experience. It's my first show with Kitchener-Waterloo Musical Productions.
Great.
Yeah, and they even invite old codgers like myself to join the crew. And it's been really great. A lot of really dedicated people, and they wouldn't be doing this if they weren't dedicated.
Most definitely.
And you meet so many wonderful people from, on stage and backstage and in all aspects of the production. It's really been good.
Well, thank you so much for giving us a preview. We can't wait to see the show.
Thank you very much, and thank you for coming out to see us.
Most definitely.
Maintain 21 knots, Mr. Laytoner.
21 knots. Yes, sir.
21 knots?
Well, there is a big cast involved with Titanic the Musical. We've moved backstage to have a chat with one of them. This is Amie Debrone, and you are one of the, I've learned that the Titanic itself is the star of this particular show, but I'm going to call you a star as well. Tell me a little bit about your role in this production.
In this show, I play Catherine McGowan, known as Kate, and she's one of three third-class Kate passengers. So
Is
there's
that right?
3 Kates, and we're all leaving from Ireland to head to New York to find a new life, something better for third-class passengers.
And I mean, that's just part of what's so fascinating about the story of Titanic. It starts off so hopeful for so many characters, probably like Kate, only to be met with the unthinkable.
Absolutely, yeah, it's really, that final scene is really quite something to experience as an actor, and to get to that point as well, yeah.
So tell me a little bit about being a part of this production. Again, we talked about how there's a big cast here with all different kinds of roles, all different scenes in this show. What is it that you like about this one?
It's the music is stunning, first of all. It's a beautiful score, but it's such an ensemble show that everybody has their own role, or numerous roles that they're playing. There's really no one star of the show. It's the characters are real, they're real passengers with real stories, and as an actor, that's a real honor and a privilege to get to do that and to research those people and what they really went through and who they really were, and then to bring that to life on stage. It's beautiful.
It's been over 100 years since the true story of Titanic happened. Why do you think it is that people are still so interested in this story?
I think it's there's a romanticism about it for sure, but it's such a lineup of if this hadn't gone wrong and this hadn't gone wrong and this, it's just so prolific a story. So I think it's really interesting to learn from that and learn from our history, and I think that's why that stays with people. And resonates, yeah.
You've been a part of several musicals with KW Musical Productions. What is it you love about this company?
The community. The people are awesome. Best friendships are made. It is fun on stage, but also behind the scenes. Cast, crew, all the volunteers, we are all just one big family, and it's such a great, so much fun, just so much fun.
So if somebody's watching at home right now and they're thinking, I want to be involved in a show like this, you would encourage them to?
Do it. Open
Okay.
arms. We welcome you.
That's fantastic. Thank you for taking us a little behind the scenes when it comes to Titanic the Musical. Best of luck with the show.
Thank you very much.
In that grandest nation I'll stand tall.